Welcome back to the show. 32 Tots after the Olympics. This is NHL Tots, and we're going to get right into the biggest one that was a feature on the blog with the Five Onion Olympic rings and the side tots. Though right before the Olympic break, we had talked about Artemi Panarin boys, and we had all made our predictions. We didn't have you, Insider, Mr. Bulgaria. You'll have to forgive us. Though Panarin to the Los Angeles Kings for Liam Greentree, I think it was, and a pick. Luke, confirm that. You're my big
Yeah.
insider in that one, right?
Yeah, Liam Greentree in a third.
Yeah. So not the biggest return. I think Greentree is like a top 15 pick, and I think he's a bit of a digger. Luke, you
Yeah.
he got in the mixer in some clips we were throwing around the horn in our chat, right?
Yeah, former first rounder, likes to dig it up a bit. Um, Taking a bit of a chance on this guy's prospect, probably a few years away. So a little
Probably,
bit of risk there, but
yeah, probably somebody the MSG crowd will like if he brings a little bit of that bravado and showmanship, like Rempe has done
yeah.
for them in the past couple of years. But I'm not comparing the two of them. He's probably not going to be fighting to Rempe's level and getting suspended the same level. I hope not. Though the one thing that was very fascinating for me that I wrote about was who were actually some of the other dogs in the running. Uh, Luke, did you or even Simeon? Let's bring you in. Did you two hear that Seattle was a big mover shaker?
Yeah. I heard I believe they offered him a 2-year extension as well, or might have even 3 years, but came in at I think the $14 million range and chose to take less to go to Los Angeles. Kind of came out after the trade that Uh, Los Angeles was kind of the spot, kind of the only spot he was willing to go to. So kind of forced the blue shirts' hand there with probably a little bit of a underwhelming return, you could say. But um, yeah, definitely some spicy tots there with Seattle taking a bet and trying to go all in to get a star forward there.
Yeah, Mr. Bulgaria, I want to bring you an insider on the last pod with our Olympic talk and the hot or not. Did you hear about the Panarin to Seattle and what did you think about that?
Um, I remember seeing a lot of the different offers come out after the trade went down. I don't remember which teams offered what off the top of my head, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit of a waste just where Seattle is right now to have a guy like Panarin on that team. They're not a serious team, unfortunately. I think they're either going to be in the bottom of the league or they're going to be in that kind of ugly middle for the next while. And I'm a big Panarin guy. I think he's like it was 2 seasons ago that he put up over 100 points and was like, yeah, putting up numbers among the best in the league. And I don't think he's fallen off that far. I think his team has.
Yeah.
So I think wherever he goes, he he should be on a team that has some potential to do some damage. And I think the Kings are one of those teams. They're not like the most exciting team, but with Panarin, they become a much more exciting team.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think not to throw you right in the mixer here, Felice, but with some of the stats that the Kings got going on, I don't think they got a lot of goal scoring that I'm noticing. Selfishly plugging the FBHL right now, the Fantasy Boys Hockey League. All four of us are owners. I had made what I thought would be an undercover sneaky pick with Quinton Byfield, and he actually has had quite the regression this year for the LA Kings. I was pretty disappointed to not see him being in that point per game threshold where I was kind of taking him in my draft. Uh, Felice, what do you think of the Panarin to Seattle? What are you thinking of the LA Kings? And I want to bring you into the chat. You're back in the studio. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I don't mind it. Like currently Seattle is sitting in kind of that middle ground, and I hoping, personally I have a little bit of bias. I just like their jerseys. I want to see them do well.
You're talking
So
Seattle's threads?
yeah,
Yeah.
I like the jerseys. I want to see them do well. I want to see them in playoff hockey. So
Being a newer franchise with what the Golden Knights have been able to do and really solidify themselves in their fan base, I would be with you, Elijah. I like the Seattle market. I might have done some travel time in Seattle, and it's a kind of American Vancouver version, but a little bit more techy, a little bit more cooler downtown. No offense, Vancouver, but Seattle, I would like to see. The one thing that I really thought about with Seattle being a mover and shaker with this is I think they've now made themselves a target where if there's a guy with a bigger payday looking for it, they'll pay. They just broadcast that to the whole league with a 14 and a half, I believe that's what you said, Luke. And that was more money than what he actually ended up taking in Los Angeles. So it wasn't about the money for Panarin, it was more about the spot. Though now Seattle, I think, has now entered the chat and gives other big guys with maybe wanting a big payday that they would pay up. Luke, what do you think of Seattle? And I'm thinking of them as mush middle. I kind of would like to see them make some moves. What do you think, Luke? And we'll set it around the horn.
Yeah, I kind of see Seattle in that mush middle, especially not after landing a guy like Panarin. They kind of just don't have that top end talent to really push them over the top and kind of fight for a playoff spot there. Um, you've kind of seen Shane Wright trade rumors kind of heat up here, so
Yeah.
wondering if they're kind of looking for a one for one swap, kind of get a change of scenery with that guy. Hope they can kind of hit on a risk and get kind of to that next level. So, um, but for the foreseeable future, I kind of see them in that mush middle.
Simeon, to you.
Yeah, I just feel kind of what I said earlier, that the Kraken are they're just not really, they don't have a solid direction as a team right now. And I agree though, their jerseys are sick, like the great market. It's just the team is just not that exciting. And yeah, I think like a top end player like Panarin, yeah, would bring some life into the team. But I think you want to start younger too, if you're the
also,
Kraken. Like the next couple of years they're not going anywhere. It's really maybe 4 years down the road where they could be a serious contender. And so you want a guy that's gonna be at their in their prime 4 years from now, and that's just not Panarin.
also paying 14.5 million for a guy like Panarin's a great player, but I don't know if anyone else is going to offer him money like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
No.
you got a kind of an issue with your team if Jordan Eberle is leading your way with 38 points. So,
Yeah, 38.
Yeah.
And we're kind of at the 60 game mark, if memory serves me right. So that's not a point per game pace that you got. And
no.
I don't think Seattle as a team construction really is built on point producing offense. It's a lot of that lockdown, and they're going to win games 2-1, 3-2, and it's all by committee, which you could get into the playoffs that way, but I don't know if that's a recipe for success to go for a deep run. So
No.
I don't know if there's much more to say on the matter other than they don't really have that driver superstar. Shane Wright was kind of be a two-way player, and I think another guy that they were probably hoping for more was Matty Beniers, and just kind of hasn't really reached that upper echelon of skill set.
Or
Like,
the development of like a Capo Caco as well. They're probably hoping for a little more from him.
yeah, they had poached him from New York, if memory serves me right, and probably hoping for him to pop off. They took Tolvanen from Nashville, so it's kind of like trying to have that Vegas Golden Knights cast off magic, and Vegas just hit the jackpot, unfortunately, and Seattle is kind of in murky water, to say the least. I think.
Yeah.
I hope they can maybe find a recipe to get back in the playoffs, because I think that would be great. Though talking before about the LA Kings, I think they're probably on a track towards the playoffs. They're in if we were to move into like a post Olympic playoff matchup, Felicia, we would have is it the Oilers versus the Kings again?
Uh, right now, I think so. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Try to tell on this thing here.
If it's two
Right now, Los Angeles is sitting third in the wild card spot. So I think they're just out actually.
Oh, they're not even in. Oh,
I
so
think they're just
pushing.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So that's fair. I'm just like feeling for those LA Kings fans, especially with the Kevin Fiala injury. If you're looking to go against the Oilers again, oh mercy me. Luke, what do you think of some matchups? We were talking a little bit earlier of like coming over to the post-Olympic break. We would have, let's just focus in the Pacific since so much talk was there. We have the Knights on top, the ones that hit the jackpot, playing the first wild card. I think. Felicia, who did we have as the first wild or second? It would be the first wild card. Yeah, because Colorado's got the bottom
Yeah.
feeder, right?
it'd be Utah.
Oh, Utah's in contention right now. That's the other team who's
Yeah.
new with the new threads. What do we think of that, Luke? We'll send it around the horn.
Yeah, that'd be a fun series. Pretty high on both teams. I like the young talent out in Utah there with a guy like Dylan Genther and Keller and Logan Cooley and all those guys kind of stepping up this year. So I think it'd be a good series. I'd probably have to pick Vegas there. They just got that top end skill. They got Marner, Stone, added a guy, Rasmus Anderson, like Shea Theodore on the back end. So I
Yeah,
think,
they're deep.
yeah, they'd probably control that series, but could see it being pretty high in entertainment value.
Yeah,
But I'd probably go Vegas there in 6.
yeah. How about you, Simeon?
Yeah, I mean, fresh off the Olympics, these players are on my mind, but just guys like Marner, Stone, Eichel playing out of their minds this Olympics. Yeah, the Knights are a pretty scary team. Their regular season record isn't really showing it, um, which makes me think maybe the depth isn't like the Knights built their reputation on just having the deepest team, and maybe
Yeah,
they've shifted to being a bit more top heavy nowadays, but they're a really good team, and I'm a on my fantasy hockey team I invested heavily in the Mammoth this year,
yeah,
and
you did.
they're not doing bad. Like they're great players, great team, but yeah, like I think their guys just aren't on the same level. Their top end talent just isn't on the same level. So it's it'll be a fun series to watch though, and I think Mammoth have a chance to prove themselves in the playoffs, and that'll be really good to see too.
How about you, Felicia? What do you think of that matchup?
You know what? Vegas, they may have the top end talent. They may have the Jack Eichels, the Mitch Marners, the Mark Stones, but do they have the diggers? Do they have the Brandon Tanevs? The Nate Schmitz 204 legend used to be a Jet. Do they have those diggers? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, because this is something I've said before. There's the players that get you there, like Marner, and there's the guys who get you through, like Tanev and the Digger squads. So it would be fascinating. Uh, this matchup would kind of remind me of the young core that kind of established in Pittsburgh. And is that Mammoth going to do what Pittsburgh does? No, like they don't have Sidney Crosby, so forgive this analogy. Though the first time that Sidney and company made the playoffs, they played a veteran Ottawa Senators team. I know I'm going back a little ways, but the Senators had quite a veteran laden team that they had assembled with some pieces from around, and kind of reminds me of that matchup where for the Mammoth, it'd be coming in and you would really be getting a wake up call with a veteran team like the Knights, and a team that's been constructed and it has gone deep and won a cup. It still feels wrong saying that the Vegas Golden Knights have won a Stanley Cup, but we don't have to stay there too long because they've been a part of a couple tough runs for our 204 squad. So if we got that one, yeah, I think probably a majority of us are going to go Vegas Golden Knights. I would probably be in that camp. Those guys know how to get through. Though going to the middle of the Pacific, we would have the Oilers, and then who's in the third spot in the Pacific there, Felicia?
Seattle.
Oh, Seattle is in contention.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, we just talked about everything that they were doing. So Oilers versus Seattle. Do we have to stay long on this one? I feel like Seattle's not going to stay in that position. Luke, let's go around the horn, but let's go first to you.
I'm getting my broomsticks out, and I probably have a
Yeah.
sweep in that series. Well, I see that one being heavily in the Oilers' favor. Just look at what McDavid and Draisaitl have done to teams like the LA Kings, maybe like the past 5 years, and those teams that are kind of stuck in the mush, they seem to brush under the rug pretty quickly. So, don't think there'd be much of a fight, unfortunately, for the Kraken, but could see some maybe record-breaking numbers from that duo at the top of Oilers Nation.
Point per period pace, like we had in the Olympics, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Simeon.
Yeah, I mean, I already said my piece on the Kraken where they're headed, but about the Oilers, just watching McDavid and Draisaitl play, those two they're built for big games, clearly. I mean, McDavid just this Olympics has proved it time and time again, and in the playoffs too. It's a shame he hasn't gotten his cup yet, uh, and I think it's partially the fault of the team around him. But at a certain point, when players are just that built for big games, like they're bound to win something. And I mean, we're not making the whole playoff run pick right now, but I do think in a first round against Seattle, that's a pretty, yeah, Luke took the words out of my mouth. Get the brooms out. Bye bye. Yeah.
Around the horn brooms, Felicia, to you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good cleaning, good sweeping over there. I don't really know what Seattle could possibly do to win this one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
But you never know.
yeah.
Brendan Tanev
Canada
legacy
almost lost to
series.
Finland, so you never know.
Yeah, and there's some Finnish content on that Seattle team. I don't know if they were on that team. I don't think Capo Kakko or Eli Tolvanen was on there, if memory serves me right. But anyway, that would be a wrap on the Pacific, right? That would be a wrap on the Pacific, and then into the Central, we would have Colorado versus is it the Ducks that are hanging on to the last wild card there?
It
Felipe?
is the Ducks right now.
Oh man, I feel like Colorado is, well, I think the Olympic break, and I think I wrote about it there. The Olympic break kind of couldn't come soon enough for them, because as much as they were on a heater for the majority of the year, they really had run into some, I don't know if a crisis of identity or a break in structure. I don't watch enough Colorado games. I just follow a lot of what the standings do, and what they're doing in the last 10 is a big thing that kind of follow in order to write the blog. I would love to see an upset here, but let's go to you. Let's go to you, Luke.
Yeah, I think Colorado's kind of been on a bit of a slump recently compared to their record-breaking kind of pace they kind of set for themselves those first few months. But I think come playoff time, you see their guys like McKinnon, Nietzsche's, McCarr, Taves, Brock Nelson's been on a heater the last couple months in the goal scoring department.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of too much speed for the Ducks to handle, but um, do you think the Ducks could kind of put up a fight and maybe steal a game or two if Leo Carlson kind of puts on the big boy pants and shows up when it matters most? But
Yeah, he's got to get healthy. He's on my
Yeah.
fantasy team. He's got to get healthy first, but he's
Yeah.
had a lot of time with the break. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
think
Luke.
it could be a fun series, kind of run and gun back and forth. But at the end of the day, I think I'd pick the Avs in that one.
To you, Simeon.
I mean, I love underdog teams, so I
Yeah.
still gotta go with the Avs though. I gotta go with the Avs. And here's why. They have their slump. McKinnon, I still think is just ever so slightly overrated. But they they just got so many good guys on that team. And more than just that, they've got their captain back. Gabe Landeskog
Yeah.
led them to a cup a few years ago. They lost Landeskog, they lost their cup runs. And now they're back in the mix. As soon as Landeskog's back, they're leading the league in wins and in points, right? And yeah, I see them making a deep run with Landeskog.
Yeah, he's a heart and soul guy. That's a good point there, Simber. To you, Felicia.
Yeah, I also, unfortunately, well, I don't know if unfortunately, but I will be also picking the Avalanche here. Do I think it'll be? I think it'll be a pretty dominant performance. Do I think it'll be as dominant as Edmonton? No. Will Anaheim win a game? Maybe. But like, just overall, you got the star power. You got the goaltending. I don't really see much coming from the Ducks here.
Oh, come on. We just watched Dostal kick it on Canada. He almost kicked it and we almost lost in the quarters. Anyway, I guess me just selfishly, I want to see the Ducks because two of my guys on my fantasy team are on the Ducks, and I'll credit the Simbear with that trade. That was a good one. I like Cutter Gauthier. I like Leo Carlson, and then I also got Jackson Lacombe. I like staying up late and watching those West Coast games. So I I think I would have to agree that with Gabriel Landeskog, if memory serves me right, I don't think he was on the team that they got was a year or so ago where they got upset by Seattle. That was a big loss and kind of like I know not that Colorado is going to go and sell off pieces, but I think that was a big wake up call as an organization of being like, oh, we just can't like look over the first round opponent, and I hope memory would serve them well to not do that with the Anaheim Ducks because they are a young, talented team, and I think they could really give them a run for their money. And it would be a great coaching matchup between Bednar and Quenneville. I have a lot of respect for Quenneville. I know there was what happened in Chicago. We don't have to stay there, but it's really great that he's back in the league. He's an amazing coach, and especially for a young aspiring team as the Ducks. But let's move on from my Anaheim Ducks. I want the Mighty Ducks to resurface and for them to beat a, I don't know, alpha team, I guess. Though, let's go into the middle of the Central. This is probably one that I'd be most excited to tune into. You have the battle of Minnesota and Dallas, the team that took away the Minnesota North Stars. Are you kidding me? You can't script this stuff. And I think this one is on lockdown. These teams are going to meet. Dallas has the home ice advantage, right, Felicia? They're in second, I believe. Or
Minnesota Wild right now are
Minnesota
what a point.
Wild. The state of hockey would have the game 1 and 2, and that barn would be buzzing. Oh my goodness. Let's go around with this one to you, Luke.
Yeah, so for me, that could just be my Stanley Cup final right there. Like two of the
Yeah.
top teams going at it. You look at the star power from both sides. You got the Moose Rantanen, Rope Hintz, Miro Heiskanen, Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson. You go to the other side, you got Thrill the Thrill, Matt Boldy, Minnesota Hughes coming over in a massive trade, Brock Faber, like the list goes on and on. But
Erickson Eck, that guy is an undercover digger and also skill digger. Like,
yeah, he's a gamer.
yeah,
So for me, that would just be much must watch hockey, and I'd
yeah.
be tuning into every game of that series. Definitely see it going 7. Um, but I think at the end of the day, I'd uh I'd put my money in on the Minnesota Wild getting through and
Oh, you just said it.
kind of breaking out that first round curse and getting by the Dallas Stars.
Okay, where's the rebuttal? Simeon, what are you picking?
As much as I love to disagree with you guys, I I gotta go with Minnesota as well. Although maybe my disagreement will be with I don't think it'll go to 7. I think it'll end in 6. That's not a diss at the Stars. I think the Stars could be a Stanley Cup final team, absolutely. They
Yeah,
have the playoff experience over Minnesota. I'll give them that too. I just think Quinn Hughes is just one of those players that's really like elite. You don't see that type of player get traded very often, and so it's tough to grasp how much of an impact that'll have on the team. But like I think he's the Wild's best player, and it's not even that close. Like
no,
I think Kaprizov's quite a few steps behind, um, and just how much better the team has got from
yeah,
having Quinn Hughes on the team now. So yeah, I'm going with them, but also stars like Rantanen is very elite. Robertson's having a great year. Heiskanen, Hintz, like so much talent there too.
yeah. It really is two elite squads kind of going at it with the way that their rosters have been constructed. Kudos to both of those GMs. Felice, what do you got?
Okay. This is a tough matchup here. I also believe it's going 7. I'm looking at these rosters. I'm seeing these names. You got star players, Krill the Thrill, Matt Boldy, Zach Bogosian, those types of guys. I think I gotta go with Dallas here.
Ooh, we got the rebuttal.
Solely because of you remember what Mikko Rantanen did against Colorado?
Oh yeah, he's a gamer.
He is a gamer. He can get you through those first rounds.
Yeah, there's the guys who get you there and get you through, and that would be Rantanen both in the season and in the postseason. I find this discussion a little challenging being in the 204 area code. I feel like our rival should be the Minnesota Wild, and I shouldn't want to cheer for them because geographically we should be rivals. Though I feel like Minnesota and Manitoba are just mirror images of each other across the 49th parallel. And so my heart is actually in Minnesota. I've been to that barn. I don't know what it's renamed. It'll be the XL Energy Center in my brain for the rest of my life. I love the barn. It's a beautiful rink, and I went down there to see the Jets when I couldn't get tickets here, and it was a really awesome experience. And to see them fully bought in with the squad that they have and Billy G building that team and getting Quinnesota, they're renaming the state of hockey after him. I just got to cheer for that. And so I would love to see the Wild take down the Stars just because of the storylines of Dallas. You took that team's amazing logo and jersey from them, and now they're the Minnesota Wild, and also have an amazing jersey. I just love the incognito, whether it's a Wildcat or a Bear. Nobody really knows, but it's ferocious and it's wild. And so I want to see the Wild do this. Oh, yeah. And going through the Central, we neglected our own team, and we're gonna save that for later because that's not even in a preview. We have to go to the East, and then we'll come back to our lowly 204, our 204 wish list of what we hope for. Anyway, let's keep moving our way along. So we would have the Atlantic all the way on the seaboard, and then we got the Metropolitan. Where do we want to go, fellas? Felice, what do you wanna throw up? What do you got next?
What do I got next? Well, Metropolitan, very stacked division this year.
Yeah.
Boston Bruins, Buffalo Sabres, New York Islanders, Penguins, Carolina. Can really go anywhere with this one.
Yeah. Who's number one? Yeah, Carolina's number one seed in the Metropolitan, right? They got
Yep.
one on lockdown. So are they
Yep.
actually playing a wild card team that would be Atlantic side? Because is Boston in the top three? I remember being Detroit. No.
Right now, Boston's in a
Detroit?
wild card with
Yeah. Detroit's on top in the Atlantic, right? You got Detroit, you got
they're
those.
tied
I think
for
it's
second right
Tampa.
now. Yeah, Tampa unfortunately is.
I don't want to talk about that team. Sorry, I saw Detroit was first. I'll be corrected. There's that other team from
Montreal.
Florida, and then what's the next one?
Montreal. Technically, Montreal's ahead of Detroit, though.
Technically, Montreal's ahead of Detroit. Okay, so Boston would be playing Carolina.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or Buffalo.
They played Tampa because Tampa's more
Or-
wins.
Yeah.
Tampa, what?
Oh yeah, I guess they would.
Tampa's
'cause
more
Tampa's
wins,
more
so it'd
wins.
be Tampa versus Boston.
Tampa would. Oh, because Tampa is actually the first seed.
They got the tiebreaker, yeah.
Oh, so they could just play that game outdoors again. That would be great. They could play They could play game 1 and 2. That would be electric.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to Carolina. So Carolina is playing who's in the other hole?
Buffalo.
Oh my goodness, okay, this is where the chat gets real because we
Gotta-
got Buffalo back in the chat. Okay, we gotta send this around the horn.
Is Buffalo gonna finally make it?
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah, so I've been kind of loving the Buffalo squad.
Yeah.
Seeing the coming out party of Rasmus Dahlin, a guy like Zach Benson, who played with the Winnipeg Ice here a few
Oh,
years
nice
ago.
reference. Love it.
Tage Thompson just got a lethal shot on him.
Yeah.
Then we go across there to Carolina. One of my favorite players of all time, Nikolai Ehlers, traitor, unfortunately, but
A traitor, but lovable traitor.
that guy's near and dear to my heart. Love a guy like Seth Jarvis from the 204 Lands.
Yeah.
Love how that guy plays. I'm gonna wish he ended up as a Jet, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's a revisionist history side quest. Yeah.
But I think that'd be a really fun series. I'd probably end up picking Carolina in the end, just see my boy Nick kind of go further. But
Yeah.
I could see that being a good series with lots of star power and would be a good one.
Yeah, there'll be some good back and forth. What do you think, Simeon?
It's a really close one. I think I'm gonna back up what I said earlier in that I like an underdog team,
Yeah.
and I would go with the Sabres.
Yeah.
My reasoning, we haven't seen them in a playoff setting before, like ever. Like this team cannot make the playoffs. So for all we know, they could be the best playoff team, and they just haven't had their
Nobody
chance.
knows yet.
So what we have seen is Hurricanes in the playoffs, which is they just never get past the third round. Sometimes even the second round's enough to do them in. So yeah, now the Hurricanes again. I'm ripping on these teams, but I do want to say like Hurricanes are a great team. They do have Ehlers. I think they've got Buffalo beat when it comes to depth. Like
Yeah.
they've just got so many good guys that hover around that top 50 range. But they don't have Rasmus Dahlin. And Dahlin, in my books, is top 4 man. Like he's so good. And Tage Thompson's another guy that's great. And yeah, I think the Sabres are a really solid team. So I'd pick Sabres. I would go like in 7. Like it's
Yeah, it's gonna go the distance if it's the underdog story.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Felice, what do you got? I'm curious. You've
I like both teams a lot. I love the guys. I love Owen Power. I love Jack Quinn. Me and Luke just the day we saw this guy's name, we always loved Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes, and then we saw Jack Quinn and we were like, this guy's gonna be a legend. But
Mush them together.
yeah, mush them
Push the
together, you get
Jacks.
Jack Quinn. But I gotta go with Carolina. You know, Nikolai Ehlers is also one of my favorite Jets. Seth Jarvis to a 4-land. I've always been a big fan of Aho, Svechnikov.
Yeah.
And I gotta bring up this one guy, Sean Walker. So
Mm,
Simeon
Oh.
knows. So
Simeon's got his hands above his head right now for you audio listeners. He's
Legend.
beside himself. Okay, keep going, Felicia. I like where this is going. This is getting spicy Todd.
me, Luke, and Simeon, we on the NHL games, we would make our own little team and we would simulate seasons, do a little franchise mode. And one day we came across the guy, Sean Walker. So we had to pick him up. And this guy was in the mixer for many years, working his way up to the big leagues. And oh boy, he made it and he won a few cups with us.
yeah. Honestly, I should expand on this story just because I'm such a big Sean Walker fan. But
Let's go.
not only do we simulate the NHL games, but during our playoff games in this fantasy league, or in this not fantasy NHL
Shell.
20 franchise mode, we'd watch we'd watch our team in the playoffs, and we'd actually watch the games, and we'd watch the computer players go up against each other.
It's completely simulated.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
completely simulated. It was kind of ridiculous. But we'd
Playoffs.
watch it like the gameplay. And what we noticed in that gameplay was Sean Walker, and he was on our AHL team at the time, actually, I think. What we noticed
Well,
that Sean Walker was leagues above everyone else. He just played so good.
Elite.
He was elite. So immediately after watching that, we called him up, we put him on our playoffs team, and then we won some cups. So
Not a big deal. Yeah.
I believe
Not-
after that playoff run, we gave him an 8-year extension, and he was a lifer with our team.
I believe so.
yeah.
I believe that happened. Sean
he's my
Walker.
favorite player in our entire
Sean
franchise
Walker,
mode history. I
lifer.
love that guy.
Sean Walker, that's a digger right there.
Yeah, and if memory serves me right, he's still available on the waiver wire in the FPHL. I don't know, has anybody taken him? I've seen that name there a couple times.
I don't think he's
I think
made the roster yet, but
no. One
Might,
day,
might,
though.
might have to take him.
Might have
yeah,
to.
might have to take him for the cup run.
Honestly,
Yeah,
if I
I
saw
know
his
they were-
name, I should have picked him up as a digger this year. If I
Yeah.
saw his name, I've
Can't believe you
honestly
guys
forgot.
missed that. You guys
Yeah.
have a Todd origin story with Sean Walker. That's a great side quest. Thanks for taking me on that journey. I loved it.
Sean Walker, if you're listening right now, I just want to say we love you here.
We'd love to have you on the pod.
And
Yeah,
shout
we
out
still-
to Miko Kokkonen, but that's a story for another day.
Oh, that's a
Miko
story.
Kokkonen too. If you're listening, Miko Kokkonen, we love you just as much.
We're gonna have these side quests, and we'll have Mr. Bulgaria ambassador, and it looks like you're now gonna be like the Chell insider with these side quests, Simeon. We love having you. It's nice to have this screen full for you video watchers. We got a full screen for you now. I love it. And it's going around the horn. We actually have first, second, third, and home now. So this is great. Keeping it going in the Metro. Who's in the 2 and the 3 hole there, Felicia? Memory is kind of not serving me great after Olympics just rocked my brain.
In the 2 spot, we got the Pittsburgh Penguins.
All right. Pittsburgh is gaming. And then so Pittsburgh's in 2, and then who's 3?
The
You got the
Island.
Islanders,
Oh,
the Island boys.
that's a classic series. They gamed it out a couple
Yeah.
years back when they were both in, and now they've kind of had a bit of a reset, both squads. Let's go around with this one. I'm excited to talk this one. Well, I want to hear you guys first. Luke.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a nostalgic matchup for me. Just kind of remembering that series when Sid kind of went up against Tavares there. I believe they went 7, and that was a great series. But I take a look at this matchup, and I think I'd go with the underdogs here and take the Island. You kind of just see what Matthew Schaefer's done for that team this year, and there's kind of a generational impact on the squad so far and breaking records as an 18-year-old defenseman in this league.
It's
I
wild.
believe he's 20 goals this year, if memory serves
Yeah,
me correct. But
Yeah, I think he's in Bobby Orr territory with like being a 18-year-old and getting 20. I think that was a legit thing, which blows my mind. Sorry about
That's
that.
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah, he's just having an unbelievable year and really propped up the rest of the guys on that team, even just from a character and leadership level at that age. It's been exceptional. And you take a look at their goalie, Sorokin, he's having a Vezina like year. So um, I think I'm taking that back end and that goaltending to push the Island over the top, as much as I'd love Sydney to go on a bit of a run, but I think the Island would get them there.
Island to you, Simeon.
Yep, I'm gonna agree there. Schaefer is one of my favorite players to watch right now. He's just the way he moves the puck at the blue line is beautiful. Also, another guy, Bo Horvat, like how he's played for Canada. I've been like, yeah, well, I didn't realize he was that good, but he is. So I was underappreciating him too, and of course Sorokin. And then the Penguins, like, I think Crosby is still one of the best players in the league. Like, he still is a guy who could creep into top 10 conversations for sure. And any given day he could be the best player in the league on a good night, you know. But yeah, I just don't think they have the team around him to go very far. So I picked the Islanders pretty handedly. I'd go like in 5 or 6 games.
Wow. Okay. Elijah to you.
As a kid growing up in like early 2010s, late 2000s, this might just be a selfish pick, but I really want to see Sidney Crosby go win another cup.
It's not selfish. Come
It's
on.
not. I want to see
Play
that man
into
go
it.
win another cup. It would just add even more to his legacy. The kids nowadays would get to experience maybe a little bit of what we felt early on.
Galore.
The Sidney Crosby, just the greatest hockey player of all time. If you go up to like 2012, you ask any kid who their favorite hockey player is, they're all saying Sidney Crosby.
If you ask my daughter who her favorite
Yeah,
Sidney Crosby. Yeah, we got
she
her.
knows.
She knows. Yeah.
She knows.
And I'm gonna hop right in with you, Elijah, because Luke, I don't mean to go at you, but you said like you're taking the underdog. I don't think just based on seeding they might be considered the underdog, but in my mind, the Islanders would be more of the favorite here if you would have to ask me truthfully. Yeah, you got the big three. It's just a different stage of their career. I think everybody would not have picked either of these teams to make the playoffs. Though if you had to look at just roster and you got Horvat, you got Barzell, they brought in Palat. Their back end is solid now with their generational piece in Schaefer. I think the team that is actually the underdog here would actually be Pittsburgh. And I think the big thing that it would come down to in this series is goaltending. Sorokin is a gamer. He's on a revenge mission for his goaltending coach that got canned, I think. I heard that, and I might have mentioned that on a prior podcast. So he could steal this entire series. The one thing that I'd kind of like to see as like a reverse Uno revenge tour would be the Stuart Skinner shutdown and him going to Pittsburgh and just proving Oil Nation wrong. It's nothing that I have against the Oilers, though everybody kind of said that it was never going to happen in Edmonton for the hometown boy. And so he kind of needed that restart. I just love to see him game it out with Sorokin. This series has the potential to go the full distance, and I would love to see Crosby score like a game 7 overtime goal again in that kind of fashion, just selfishly for me and my daughter. So yeah, Elijah, I'm with you. So we split it right down the middle on that one, which I love, having a more of a contested NHL playoff thoughts. So that wraps up the Metro. We would now go over to the Atlantic, and oh my gosh, we got to talk about Tampa Bay flavors again. Like, I'm so done with it, with all of the talk. We had to talk about the Olympic team, and yeah, I'm wearing my Marky Mark shirt, and we're not going to get into that just yet. Though we would have Tampa Bay versus the lowest seed, and that would be who? Boston.
Boston.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Wow,
Awesome.
that's not an easy matchup right there.
Yeah, you just get Boston in the first round, and yeah, Boston, like, we could send this around the horn, but none of us are really pro Tampa Bay. So maybe instead of going around with you, Luke, is it okay if we send it over to the guy who's the only guy who's gonna represent that
Yeah,
team from
just
Florida?
leave the tots for that guy. I don't even want to talk about this
Yeah,
franchise.
Tampa Bay doesn't really need any more Todd. But Simeon, who are you picking? Everybody's gonna know you as a Tampa guy now. You're the insider.
Okay.
1
Well,
minute time limit.
as an owner of David Pastrnak in the Fantasy Boys Hockey League, I gotta say, he is nothing compared to Nikita Kucherov, the second best player in the NHL. What a legend. Nikita Kucherov is disgusting to watch on the ice. His passing is just on a whole other level. He's putting up like the most insane point production in the last like 40 games. Like since December, he's just dominated the league. And yeah, they got a team to boast now because I think the last couple of years they've just been missing the depth. They've had Kucherov lead the league in scoring the last 2 years before this one, but they just didn't have the depth to go with it. Gensel's gotten used to the new team. Hagel has grown so much as a player. They've got now 2 new defensemen that are just playing out of their mind with Radish and Moser. Moser's all of a sudden one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. And
Yeah.
then Radish is one of the best offensive defensemen in the league. And they still have Victor Hedman. Like, what
Who's
is
all
this
Swedish.
team? Yeah, Hedman's maybe not the player he used to be, but they've got 2 other guys. And then they've got Andre Vasilevsky, who's always in the Vezina conversation. And this year, he's in the Vezina conversation once again. So we just got so much talent on that team. And
Wait, we are
We
you?
or you?
Yeah, are you part of?
no. I as much as I like lots of other teams, the Lightning are my second favorite team, and it's a big gap between the Jets and the Lightning, and then there's also a big gap between the Lightning and all the rest. So
Oh my gosh. Okay. I want to skip the Lightning talk. Yeah, he is wearing the Jets for you audio listeners, and so he had to like try to make it seem like he actually likes the Jets. But if you just heard that rant about all those players, nobody knows who he would actually cheer for in a Stanley Cup final between the Jets and Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
Let me
I'll
just tell
just
you,
say if
I've
the Jets were in
never
the playoff spot, I would be yelling through that.
heard you talk about the 204 like you just did about the Lightning. So I'll just leave it.
Well, let me tell you about Kyle Connor and how I feel about him, because
Oh, let's
USA
save that
another
for
one
the
I'm gonna
204
watch.
wish list. Let's save that for
Yeah,
the 204 wish list. You know what? In that series, based on what we got to witness at that outdoor game or supposed outdoor game in Florida, can you even call it a hockey game outdoors? It's a hockey game on a American egg ball field. Don't get me started on that sport. Though, this would be a fun series to watch. I just have to pick Boston because Swayman's gonna kick it and shut it out. And the Boston actually has diggers, guys like
Yeah.
who's a cast off from your Tampa Bay Lightning, Mr. Insider Simeon, Tanner Jeannot. That guy's a digger. I'm taking him in a series versus uh all Russian, no finish Nikita Kucherov. Like who's actually gonna go and retrieve a puck out of a corner? It's gonna be Jeannot. If
Yeah.
you know, Jeannot. All right. So the Bruins are made for playoff hockey. Tampa has had their COVID cups. We can move on, Luke and Elijah. I don't want to stay here too long.
Yeah, just personal bias aside, I'm going Boston in 4, and we'll just leave it at that.
We were trying to keep Simeon as
Personal bias
Mr.
aside
Insider.
is
We might
crazy.
rage quit.
That's good. Well played. Well played. You got me.
You know what? I want to move on, and it's nice that we after the Olympic talk and the red leaf, the power of the red leaf. We don't have to talk about that blue leaf. I'm actually really excited about this series potential between the Red Wings and the Habitants, the Montreal Canadiens. I think this series would have so much potential with these young squads going head to head to be in the conversation as one of the better series up with like Minnesota and Dallas. Now let's properly go around the horns because this is an actual series we're talking about. To you, Luke.
Yeah, so now that we got some integrity back, we'd have some high flying teams here in the Red Wings and the Habs going at it. So I think it would be an insane series for entertainment value, just watching guys like Mo Sider and Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond, as Simber mentioned in the past, loves that guy. And you go over to the other side and you got Cole of the goal, Caulfield, you got Slavkovsky, Demidov, Lane Hudson, all these young guys kind of on the come up, and I think that'd be a great series. I could see it going the distance. Um, I think I'd probably have to pick the Habs in there, maybe just a little bit of Canadian bias, but I'd kind of like to see them go on a bit of a run, so I'd go with the Habs.
Nice. To you, Mr. Lucas Raymond, tire pumper. Simber.
I'll spare you all the Lucas Raymond tire pumping because I already did that. I'm a big fan of him. I think the Red Wings are a fun team to watch. I especially Raymond, but the whole team is interesting. They got guys like Patrick Kane just sitting there as well, and you got DeBrincat, who's another player that's very underrated as well. But the Canadians also have a really fun to watch team, perhaps the most fun to watch team, if I'm being honest. You know, all the players Lukey mentioned there, and Slavkovsky, who was another guy just phenomenal in the Olympics, and I've been a big Slavkovsky fan for a while too. So, um,
What do you got?
difference maker could be goaltending. Uh, with goaltending, Gibson's looked great this year for the Red Wings. And Canadians goaltending could be shaky. Overall, though, I think I'm still picking the Canadians. Just they were in the playoffs last year. They got a little bit of a taste of what it's like. I think that'll give them the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, to you, Felicia.
Yeah, right now Canadians, they're my favorite team to watch. I love their team. Just such a young, good core. I really hope this team does end up winning a cup or two with these main
Yeah.
guys of Nick Suzuki, Lane Hudson, Caulfield, Demidov, Slavkovsky. Plus, like you got a few diggers down there as well. You got a Kirby Doc. Been a fan of him for a little bit now
Yeah.
as well.
Franchise mode legend.
Franchise mode legend. Also Philip Deneau, another franchise legend. Back in the
Yeah.
day, we called him Philly cheesesteak. So
Cheese.
that's a little lore there. And then like old 204 Patty Laine. Hopefully he can be healthy. But
Yeah.
I want to see this Montreal Canadian team succeed. Like Simeon said, you don't really know what you're gonna get with their goaltending. It's quite shaky at times, but yeah, I just want to see Canadians win.
Yeah, I just love that this is like an original six matchup and where hockey is back uh in full force to get both of these teams to the playoffs. I think these teams are pretty locked in. I think that they'll be ending up in these spots if you'd ask me. And I just want to see both of these barns pumping. Like, I think Detroit built their new barn after Joe Louis had all of their success. Joe Louis Arena, shout out. And so their new spot, I think Little Caesars slapped their name on it, has never had playoff hockey in it. And so for them to be able to have their playoff hockey in that it's not such a new arena anymore, but for them to be bumping with it, I'm really looking for that for Detroit fans. Met some people from Michigan on my last trip down south to Arizona, and they're absolutely delightful. Almost be like surrogate Canadians. And we got some Michigan connections here in the 204 Lands on our squad, so I have to put some respect on the state. And so the Canadian heart for me just kind of that's what kind of pierces through this one. I want to see the Canadians win. Canadians have always kind of been my Eastern board team. I don't cheer for the blue leaf. I cheer for the red leaf, and there's more red on the Habitant sweater than that represents the Canadian color in my opinion. And I just love a lot of those players. Like what Suzuki did in the Olympics, big game guy. Love to see him go at it. Uh Slavkovsky, what he did for the Slovaks, would love to see that. And then you got the snubs, right? You got Caulfield and you got Hudson. I think the one thing in net is the question you kind of had that Simber. Uh, the one player that I could kind of maybe see rising up would be Dobish. I think Montembeau has kind of lost his confidence, and I don't know if he needs a reset outside of Montreal, but I would love to see Dobish kick it and kind of be like a Czech backstop, like some guys of old. So I would love to see Montreal on top in this one. That's just what I would cheer for. I think Gibson with maybe a little bit more experience probably seals the deal, but my heart is with the Canadians. um is that a wrap on kind of going through it? I think that is, guys. So we unfortunately have to come back to our lowly 204 Lands because we will rep it. Luke's got it in the back corner for you audio listeners. Simeon's got it on the sweater. I got it on the shirt with Marky Mark on the back, my snub. And Elijah's looking for something.
My sweater says 204 somewhere on it. I just can't find it right now.
Nice. So we're gonna send this around the horn. If what is your 204 wish list going into a trade deadline? Or are we just already thinking, like we talked about last time, of hitting up the golf simulators and getting the off season rolling, and what maybe your wish list with Chevy, general manager, what he's maybe got up his sleeve? Let's send this around to you, Luke.
Yeah, so this team is kind of deep in the mush this year. Just underperforming. Lots of these off-season signings not turning out as maybe front office expected, not so much maybe from the fan base. But just seeing guys like Nyquist and Luke Shen and Tanner Pearson kind of being your big off-season moves just doesn't really inspire the fan base or move the needle. So I'd like to see them kind of offload a few of those guys, if not all of them.
Offload
Is-
them all.
yeah, you see a guy like Logan Stanley having a career year and kind of think like maybe you could get some good value out of that. So He's a
Yeah.
guy that I wouldn't mind seeing moved, although we have contract extension rumors swirling around, which gives me a bit of the Sunday scaries, but um,
No doubt.
overall not loving the direction of this team, but hoping we can end up with like a top 5 pick in the draft this year and kind of
Yeah.
reset. Um, because you kind of just take a look at the Central Division going forward, and you see Colorado at the top and Dallas and Minnesota also being powerhouses. And I just don't really see with this aging core in Winnipeg like a path forward through that in the playoffs. So
It's
I'd
tough.
kind of lean hard reset as much as I love kind of the core that Winnipeg's built and I've grown up with and seen a few special playoff runs with, but at the end of the day, these guys aren't getting any younger and I'm not sure how much they have left in the tank. So we'd like to see a little bit of a reset and hopefully the guys upstairs also see that. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Simber?
I got a different perspective on the 204. I'm a lot more hopeful, and here's why. Uh, it was only last season we won the President's Trophy. Like, it's very easy to forget when you're down in the dumps, but last season we were the best team in the league in the regular season, and we got the same core pieces that got us that best team in the regular season on our roster right now. We didn't lose our Hart Trophy winning goaltender. We didn't lose our elite forward Kyle Connor. We didn't lose Mark Scheifele, who goes alongside him very well, and we didn't lose our number one defenseman Josh Morrissey. So I think we've got the core, the pieces to give us not just a playoff berth, but like a serious contending team. Because in the regular season last year, we beat out Colorado, we beat out Minnesota, we beat out Dallas. It's just about bringing that to the playoffs, and I think the recipe for success in the playoffs is just Hellebuck playing his best. And I think if we can get ourselves in a position for the playoffs, and Hellebuck brings his A game to the playoffs, we could beat any team. The issue with this year is, yeah, all those off-season moves that we made for Pearson and Nyquist. It's not looking good in terms of depth, but I think we just need to retool, not scrap it, throw it all away. Like Scheifele's still playing amazing despite his age, you know. Kyle Connor's still looking great, and I would second the selling Logan Stanley though. Like, now's the time. He's having a career year. Get him off the roster. Get some good trade value, but don't trade him for some second overalls, or like don't trade him for a bunch of picks. Late picks. If we're gonna get a pick, go for a first rounder that could be impactful in the next couple years while we still got this core. Because I believe in this core. I think we can make at least a deep run, if not a cup run, with this core. It's just we gotta completely reimagine our third and fourth lines to make it work.
All right. I want to hop in on that, but I'm going to let you have it first, Elijah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to disagree slightly with Simbear here. Like, sure, our core guys are great. We threw away a lot this offseason. Nikolai Ehlers is still, I'll say to this day, the most underrated Jet. We kind of just threw away all of our speed and just picked up a bunch of bums who aren't even diggers. Just a bunch of old bums. And as a Jets fan, I'm tired of watching this middle ground hockey where like we occasionally will have a good playoff performance. I'm ready. I would be completely fine with selling all of our guys. Not quite all of them. Keep a few. Keep the main guys. But sell a few guys and then just be bad for like a couple of years and then go on a crazy run. Because Mark Scheifele's only 32. He's not retiring for a few years still. I think you just maybe be bad this year be bad next year, and then you go for a cup run.
Yeah, I have to agree. And you might have saw me, those of you watching the video. Uh, I got a bit of a list, let's just say. And this isn't to go directly and rebuttal you, Simeon. Uh, I think that last year, if we had to have an honest assessment, and I love your optimism, Simeon. Can I just like point that out? Like I like to think of myself as an optimistical creature where I like to look at the positive. Though in this kind of case, I have to be more of a realist. And I think last year and that President's Trophy, those were really fun run. I remember going to games earlier in the season and we had that historic start. I think that really uh was a mirage in a way that it set us so far ahead that there was really like you could just pace the rest of the field with your record and you would get to that President's Trophy. There was some time where I think Tampa was on her heel, or no, pardon me, Tampa was kind of around, and then it was also
Washington.
Dallas. Dallas was right on her heels actually to take away the one spot in the Central, if memory serves me right. I think the start really inflated what we were. And Arneal said it best this year. He said last year we won all of the 1 goal games. And it does take some skill to win those 1 goal games, don't get me wrong. Though if you're just hammering with your goalie all the time and then he goes down for a stretch, that shows you what you really are and your defensive structure. And the Jets' defensive structure is not good. Uh, I watched the game pretty critically with my daughter when they were playing against the Oilers, and the breakdowns towards the end of the period, they don't have the locked in focus of a squad that is really going to go deep in my assessment. They won those, and then we had what we started with our first pod. They have the oldest roster in the league with an average age. You don't just change that overnight. Our core is older in the 204. But yeah, Mark Scheifele is a gamer, and he's going to probably be dialed in with nutrition and all of his off-season training, and he'll probably be into his late 30s playing at a high level because that's just who Marky Mark is. Uh, though the roster construction around those guys has been terrible. Like you brought in all these old guys that in a league that is pacing younger, quicker, faster, your guys that you're bringing in are the Pearsons. And yeah, it was fun for a promo with Johnny Taves. He's playing better, but that's not the guy that you're putting in your number 2C role. Um, we wanted more out of Cole Perfetti. He hasn't really stepped up. Uh, and yeah, you got the Nyquist debacle, like trying to be Nikolai Ehlers light. You're not replacing that
Goals.
speed. Yeah, he's got a donut in the goal category. It's just been a lot of moves in the roster construction part where I have a lot of questions and no answers. And me and Luke were talking about this today, where Shoveldayoff can say things very tactfully. He can say a whole lot of nothing while saying a whole lot of a lot at the same time. And I'd just like a few more honest answers out of True North. And it just feels like from the top, a very respectable owner in the group with Mark Chipman. I'm not going to question his integrity. His integrity speaks for himself. Though the one thing that I think has been a knock against True North all along is being loyal to a fault. You are loyal to a fault with Paul Maurice, and there are stories that will come up more on this podcast potentially. We'll see what happens, but of some decisions that were quite questionable of player treatment under that regime. Uh, and you were also loyal to a fault with the captain, Blake Wheeler, who really spit nails, and he's a gamer, don't get me wrong, but he really drove a couple people away from this team. And I would say that the reason why Dustin Bufflin went to be a Bass Pro tournament guy was because it wasn't fun coming to the rink after Wheeler had his control of the team. So I'm a little fired up from this list. Uh, I have a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. That's why I'm a teacher. Though I have the biggest question is, does a guy from the core need to move? Because I'm sorry, this is just something that kind of comes to mind is Mark Scheifele didn't get picked for the Olympic team. We wanted him. He didn't get picked. And I don't know if it's because of a cultural thing within True North that is made apparent around the league. I don't know. This would just be more questions that I have. But he didn't get taken. Then you have Kyle Connor, and maybe this is a good one for you, Simeon, because I know you would have more of a connection for this one. But Kyle Connor is an extra forward for the United States at the Best on Best Olympics. He's your guy on a top line here, but then when he has to go play with the elites, then he can't find a role. For me, that begs a big question there as well. Um, Josh Morrissey, I love the guy. He is a gamer defenseman and he moves the puck and is elite defensively as well. Just a complete game. And I don't think you're moving Connor Hellebuck. That guy I think is solidified. But if you had to trade, if you had to, okay, if you had to trade Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, or Josh Morrissey for a package to do a reset, like not a complete teardown like the Canucks, but look at the package they got for Quinnesota Hughes now. Uh, who would you trade to do a reset? I'm putting you guys on the spot, and I know you're gonna maybe come to the defense of Kyle Connor. Simeon, I see the brain moving. So do you want to take a defense role of Kyle Connor? Because my bend would lean there.
I will take a defense of Kyle Connor. Yeah, so he's one of my favorite players in the league. So I may be a bit biased here, but I think for me, you don't need to be the most complete player to be the best player. Um, Sidney Crosby is an example of the most complete player, no doubt about it. But he cannot skate like Connor McDavid right now. Like he just can't do some of the things that Connor McDavid can do right now. Connor McDavid is on a whole other level. He's the best player in the league. I feel similarly with like a comparison between Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey. Morrissey's a complete player. He brings defense, he brings offense, but he just doesn't have that just elite deking, elite playmaking, elite shot that Kyle Connor has. I think Kyle Connor, like in terms of all the forwards and defense in the history of Winnipeg Jets, he's the one that has blown my mind with his plays the most. That's why he's one of my favorite players. And yeah, so his defense is not like exceptional. I don't think he's the best role player, which is why he's not getting that roster spot on Team USA, although I contest that decision personally just because of how talented he is. But yeah, like he's not going to be your penalty killer. He's not going to be the complete player that you might want from a fourth line player, but he's just so talented. And Scheifele, I think, is just so core to our team. Like he's been around for forever, and just his chemistry with Connor is pretty unmatched too. Like they just have some of the best chemistry in the league. I wouldn't want to break those two up. So that leaves me with Morrissey, and I think Morrissey's a really good fit for our team. I think we need a number one defenseman, so it kind of hurts to see him go. But if I have to choose between three guys that I think shouldn't go, I'm gonna choose Morrissey. Yeah.
Well, okay. Luke or Elijah? Elijah, you're shaking your head. I kind of want to go to you.
I disagree. Honestly, if it were me, I would say our best player right now, other than Hellebuck, is Josh Morrissey. He runs our plays for us. Kyle Connor, I mean, I've never been a huge fan of Kyle Connor's play personally. I'm more on the side of having a complete player, like a guy that he can be offensively good and not a hindrance defensively. So I'm personally more a fan of that. Personally, for me, my lock is Morrissey, and then my number two, I can't see Shifley playing anywhere other than Winnipeg. So
Yeah.
me personally, I would toss Connor, but
No, we'd get a package. Okay, we're not tossing them. We're getting a pack.
yeah, of course. I was just not expecting that answer from Simeon. I didn't think he was tossing Morrissey.
Yeah, no, this is this is a spicy thought that I've thrown on you guys. We're just like trying to juggle it and try to figure because I just in my mind there's a bit of a reset retool that I would advocate for. How about you, Luke?
Yeah, so I'm gonna come at this from a bit of a different perspective. Um, I see a guy like Kyle Connor. Um, Before he signed his extension with his no move, I would have tried to trade him off and get a huge package for a guy like that. Like he's a great scorer. He's got a great shot. Like there's no doubt in that. But you kind of just look at when it matters most, and when he's kind of playing those hard-nosed teams, like he kind of shies away from the contact, kind of loses his guy in the D zone sometimes, and sometimes spends more time in that zone than even the offensive zone. But you kind of take a look at it from this year. Some games he doesn't show up. Some games he's your best player on the ice. Just not not as consistent as some of those top guys in the league. And um, at the end of the day, can end with on the score sheet with a goal or two. But not a guy I'm sure you could move now. But um, I take a look at Josh Morrissey and his contract ending in a couple of years, and I think you could kind of do a similar move to kind of Quinn Hughes and
Yeah.
get a package of that sorts. Not against Josh Morrissey, but I think you could just get so much value for a player like that. And um, I know Mark and Kyle kind of love playing together and
Yeah.
kind of run that operation um, as you see it. But um, I think you could get a huge package for Morrissey and um, kind of try to retool from there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Go ahead, Elijah.
maybe you just trade Shifley and Connor together, make a big blockbuster trade there, keep them playing together.
Yeah, I mean, one of them can't drive a line on his own, so you may as well stick them together.
Yeah, and
Rage bait is crazy.
When has he done it? We've never seen it.
Simeon, I don't want this to just be all about rage bait. I really appreciate your take, and like it's funny how the different viewpoints between you and Luke, but they're very connected, and I just that's just more of my bent is I like finding connections, and so I'm kind of yeah, I'm sitting on the fence and maybe I'm mushing myself, but the one thing that I can't help but think is the roster construction issue of the one line. I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you, I'm looking up at the wall and it's fueled by passion and it's got the number one line that started things off and it was Ladd, Little, and Wheeler. And it just seems like it's been prescription for Jets 2.0 or whatever you want to call them here is that there's the one line and then the rest have a really challenging time. It was only like last year with like Nemestikov kind of playing way above his potential that there was more of a second line and then you had your third tertiary with a Lowry line. But the roster construction like just needs to get away from that. And I think the only way that you would really be able to get a big return to get away from that, I think would be trading Josh Morrissey, like just to use the Quinn Hughes trade as an example. They got a bona fide like stud in Buium, which I think is gonna like mature into a really good player. Is he Quinn Hughes? No, and will he be Quinn Hughes? Probably not, but he's probably gonna be really, really good. And then you got Marco Rossi, which is a really great winger. And then you also got Ogren, who's kind of a digger guy, and you got to pick out of the deal. Like that gives you so many options across your lineup that's kind of the trade that I would wish. If we're talking about this wish list, and can I do a little insert here where I want to go and I want to watch Keaton Verhoff at UND, and kind of connect a thread here. So if you didn't watch Verhoff at the World Juniors, he got the same amount of points as McKenna in less ice time because they did a little bit of a tariff on him for leaving the CHL and going to play college. That's purely skepticism, or that's pure speculation, pardon me, from Dale Hunter. But with Keaton Verhoff playing at UND, before he played at Victoria, he was playing with the Royals there, and that's True North WHL West, I call it, because you have Jake Heisinger. He is Craig Heisinger's son. He's running the ship over there, and you also have James Patrick, former head coach of the Winnipeg Ice. And so he did time over there. True North knows those guys very well. And I'm sure they're going down the road to UND doing some scouting trips on a lot of things. So they're seeing a lot of this kid. And he's a stud. He's a farm boy, potentially digger, elite defenseman out of Saskatchewan. So you know that he's good for the cold. He's not going to be going to Carolina and getting nice and warm temperatures. Sorry, Nikolai. We love you. We miss you. We just really miss your speed. But that's my my shameless plug for wanting to get it into a draft position where we could get an elite D-man. And he's gonna need a little bit more time to mature. But along with that, I think we trade off Logan Stanley and you give a guy like Salamonson and where's Hanola gone? Like it's just one of
Just
those.
called up.
Did he?
Did he finally?
Oh,
And if he gets sent down, he goes back on
Billy.
waivers. So maybe it's his time.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe we're predicting that if D is moving out. I don't know. But the guys that are like on D with like Colin Miller and Stanley, and like in my mind, you could just trade a DeMello too. Like I love him as a partner with Josh Morrissey, but none of these guys are bringing us to the cup final right now. Like now is your
No.
time to really do some asset management in the 204 area code. But well, fellas, I want to send it one more time around the horn. Any like last hot thoughts, any last food for thought that we didn't get to with some of this post-Olympic thoughts just talking about the National Hockey League? Luke?
Yeah, I don't really got too much left, but just miss my Nikolai Ehlers in the 204. So shout out to that guy.
That's allowed. That's allowed. Nikolai was comfort taught, food for thought for us. Getting those offensive zone entries. I will give Kyle Connor like respect. He can drive and get it into the zone. I just don't feel like with everything that I've seen, like he's a guy that gets you to the playoffs. I don't know if he gets you through, but
Our issue is not a one player problem right now.
no, it isn't. It's a roster construction issue. You got that, Elijah. Anything from you, Mr. Bulgaria ambassador, and don't tell me you're going to talk about Nikita Kucherov and the Tampa Bay Lightning as your last food for thought. Did I guess it?
No. I'm gonna talk about Kyle Connor just a tiny bit more. And this is
Oh,
the
come
one
on.
thing I want to leave everyone with. There's all this talk about Kyle Connor not being consistent, about him not being a playoff performer, about him being great in the regular season, but I just think last playoffs he was the one guy on the team that I felt like we could depend on game in, game out. Other than Neil Pionk, who was playing his best hockey in the playoffs, no doubt. But Kyle Connor was playing the same game he was playing in the regular season in the playoffs. And I think that's the guy you want on your team going forward.
All right. You know what? You're an optimistical creature, and we appreciate you. Simeon, it's been really nice to have you with us. Like, I I think we'll probably have to go and do some debrief, but I'm willing to extend a partnership at SBF Net right now. It was really fun, and from all of us here at 32 Tots, we're really glad that you tuned in. And as always, the sports policy is fun here, and stay tuned for more content.